At Christmas, my 8-year-old daughter clutched my hand and whispered, "I'm afraid of Grandma." I turned toward my mother. She was smiling. But then I noticed what she was holding, and everything in me froze. I didn't scream. I acted. 10 minutes later, the police were knocking on our door. Just 10 minutes before everything fell apart, I was still convincing myself things were okay. Not peaceful, not perfect, but manageable. 10 minutes before it all exploded, I kept repeating that it was fine. The house was packed. My mom floated through the kitchen like she ruled the place. Derek, my ex-husband, was charming someone. Jade, my best friend, hovered near the snack table, shooting me a look that clearly meant, "Don't leave me alone with Derek." And Lucy, my daughter, was glued to my hip. That should have been the first clue. I'd made it through the day without sobbing into the mashed potatoes, and I was calling that a victory. Then Lucy gave my hand a tug. I leaned closer. "What is it, honey?" She looked straight at me, serious as ever, and whispered, "I'm scared of Grandma." My thoughts ground to a halt. No confusion, no hesitation. She said it plainly. No theatrics, no tears, just a quiet, certain truth. I blinked. Scared? She nodded. I turned slowly to face the kitchen. My mom stood at the counter, still smiling. Not at anyone, just smiling. The kind of grin you give when you're alone, but pretending you're not. She was humming, off-key and overly bright. Her hands were moving across a dessert plate, spreading something. Nothing seemed off at first, until I noticed the jar she was using. That's when my chest tightened. It looked exactly like the nut-free one I always buy. Same brand, same shape, that recognizable shade of blue. But the lid was wrong. My stomach knotted. I stepped a little closer, casually, not enough to raise suspicion, just enough to see better. Then I saw the label. Same design, same font, but it was different, and I knew immediately. This was not the safe version. This was the original. The one that clearly states it contains tree nuts in small, unmistakable text on the back. The one that is strictly forbidden in our house. The one I've warned everyone about over and over again. The one that could trigger Lucy's anaphylaxis. And she was spreading it on a cookie she set neatly on a pink unicorn plate. Lucy's plate. I froze. My mind flipped through potential reasons, like flashcards. Maybe she brought the wrong jar? No. I saw her hold up the nut-free one when she got here. Sealed. Labeled. This one wasn't the same. Maybe she grabbed it by mistake. Maybe she didn't realize she'd switched them. Except I never buy the regular kind. There shouldn't be another jar in this house. There has never been another jar. So where did this one come from? And why was she smiling? I turned away, walked quickly to my purse, and unzipped the side pocket. It was empty. My fingers flew through the other compartments under the flap. Nothing. Lucy's EpiPen, always in that spot, was gone. I didn't react. I couldn't. My hands were numb. I looked down at Lucy. "Let's go to my room for a minute." "Okay," she nodded. No questions, just trust. We walked down the hall. I locked the door behind us, opened in the dresser, pulled out the backup EpiPen, sat down, tried to breathe. "What are you looking for?" Lucy asked. "Your EpiPen?" She tilted her head. "Oh, Grandma took it." I looked at her. "What?" "I saw her. She took it from your bag. She put it in hers. It wasn't a mistake. It was never a mistake." I picked up my phone, called. "My daughter has a life-threatening nut allergy. Someone in my home brought a nut product and removed her EpiPen from my bag. I have a backup, but I believe this was done intentionally." 10 minutes later, the knock came, and I was still sitting there, holding my daughter in one arm, her EpiPen in the other, waiting to find out if this was really happening, or if it had already happened, and I was just the last one to see it. I grew up in a house where keeping the peace meant shutting up. If Mom was stressed, you didn't ask questions. If my brother Trevor forgot to clean up after himself again, you cleaned up for him. If something felt unfair, you smiled through it. That's just how things were. Trevor and I were close in age, but the rules never seemed to apply equally. He could leave a mess, roll his eyes at Mom, ignore chores, and somehow still be the one getting praised for trying his best. Meanwhile, I was the one who knew where the spare batteries were, who figured out how to keep the washing machine from flooding the hallway. Mom used to call me her little second in command. It sounded sweet when I was 6. By 16, it felt like a job I never applied for. Our dad left when I was around 10. Divorce, quiet, messy, final. He called once in a while, sent birthday cards with money inside, but he was gone. That left me, Trevor, and Mom, which really meant it was just me and Mom holding everything up, and Trevor floating somewhere in his own orbit. Trevor still floats. He's not living with Mom anymore, but he's not exactly independent either. Between jobs, as he calls it, except between implies there was something before and something coming next. I'm not convinced of either. Anyway, I met Derek when I was in my mid-20s. He was charming in that practiced way some men are, the kind that makes you feel lucky just to be noticed. He was successful, confident, articulate. Everyone liked him, especially Mom. She adored him. Said he was the kind of man who knew how to lead. Said I was lucky, and for a while I believed her. We got married, we had Lucy, and for a while it worked. When Derek's company expanded, he offered my mom a full-time job, something administrative. It suited her, and she loved telling people she worked for the family. It made her feel important. She had a desk, an email signature, a boss she admired. Then it stopped working. I won't rehash it, not in detail. I'll just say I left him because he cheated, and that was enough. When I told Mom, she didn't gasp or get angry or ask if I was okay. She sighed. So, he cheated, she said. It happens. That's just how men are. I remember staring at her, waiting for the part where she would follow up with something like, but it's still wrong, or, I'm here for you. Instead, she said, you should have stayed. You have a child. I said, I'm not staying in a broken marriage so you can keep your job. She didn't speak to me for 3 days. Derek didn't fire her. Of course he didn't. He promoted her, gave her more responsibility, more money, gave her reasons to speak about him with reverence, even after everything. She took those reasons and ran with them. He's professional, organized, generous. He still supports me even after what you did. What I did? Trevor, for the record, was neutral, mostly because he didn't want to rock any boats that might offer him a job. I heard rumors Derek had floated the idea of bringing him into the company. Nothing concrete, just enough to make Trevor interested and quiet. Then came the custody process. Derek wanted 50%, maybe more. He said he wanted to be involved, said Lucy deserved both parents. He had the money, the house, the clean shirts, and fresh haircut and calm voice. I had the schedule, the scraped knees, the late-night stories, the fear that somehow none of that would matter. I tried to fight fair. I really did. But when your own mother is suggesting maybe Lucy would be better off with him, it's hard to feel like anyone is on your side. She said things like, you're always so reactive and he offers stability. She meant, you're messy, you're emotional, you're not doing it right. I started to feel like I was shrinking, like I was vanishing from my own narrative. Christmas was supposed to be a break. I wanted quiet, just Lucy, Jade, Mom, maybe a couple close friends. Nothing big, no pressure. But Mom pushed. You have to invite Derek, she said. Don't punish Lucy. It's Christmas. And when I hesitated, she added, this isn't about you. It's about family. So I gave in like I always do. I invited him, set the table, hung the lights, told myself I could get through one day. I wasn't prepared for what came next. Now I'm sitting in my bedroom with the door locked. Lucy is lying beside me, her breathing calm and steady. I'm holding the backup EpiPen in my hand, and I'm not letting go. The jar, the strange smile, the plate, and the words Lucy whispered, they're all burned into my mind. I still don't understand what this was. I don't know why my mother did it. I don't know what was going through her head. All I do know is that it wasn't accidental, and I don't feel safe, not even in my own house. I still had the backup EpiPen gripped tightly when I heard the knock on the front door. Lucy was nestled against me on the bed, small and still, as if none of this had taken place, as if she hadn't looked up at me with those serious eyes and said, Grandma took the EpiPen, as if she hadn't whispered that she was afraid. 10 minutes earlier, I'd called the police. Now I was just waiting. That kind of waiting where your mind starts filling in every terrifying gap. What if they think I'm exaggerating? What if I completely misread the situation? What if this is all some huge misunderstanding and I just torched Christmas over a jar of spread? But what if it isn't? Then I heard it, the front door opening, voices. A man's voice, calm but firm. and then hers. My mother, acting all sweet and clueless. Officers! Oh, is something the matter? Lucy stirred. I instinctively held her closer. I couldn't make out the officer's reply, but I could easily imagine the expression on her face. Wide-eyed innocence, feigned confusion, that practiced head tilt that screamed, "What did I do now?" If there were Oscars for manipulative mothers, she'd sweep the category every year. Footsteps approached, growing louder in the hallway. Then came the knock, steady, not forceful or frantic. "Police, are you all right in there?" I swallowed hard. "I'm here with my daughter. We're okay." "Would you be willing to open the door? We just want to check in, make sure everything's all right." I hesitated, not out of fear of the officers, but because once I opened that door, this stopped being a theory. It would become fact. I turned the knob and opened it. 2 officers stood there, a man and a woman. The female officer had the look of someone who'd seen the worst in people, but hadn't let it harden her. Her tone was even, gentle. I stepped just far enough into the hallway so Lucy wouldn't overhear. "My daughter has a serious nut allergy," I began. My voice came out flatter than I'd expected. "My mom brought a jar she said was nut-free, but I saw her using a different one, a regular one, the kind we don't allow in the house. She was spreading it onto a cookie on Lucy's plate." I felt my fingers tighten around the EpiPen as I added, "The one I always keep in my purse. It was gone." I managed to find the backup, but Lucy told me she saw her take it. The officer gave a small nod. She didn't look surprised. Somehow that made it feel worse. "All right," she said calmly. "Would you like to stay in the room with your daughter while we speak with everyone else?" I nodded. She stepped away and the door clicked shut behind her. I sat back down on the bed and listened. My mother's performance had already begun. "This is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't do anything. She's just dramatic. She loves that word. Dramatic. It's her favorite way to say you can't trust her." Another voice. Calmer. Probably the officer. Then more movement. A knock. The same woman officer stepped in. "We're going to check the kitchen and speak with your mother. Are you comfortable with us looking through her bag?" "Yes," I said. No hesitation. She left again. More movement. A raised voice. "Not mine. This is harassment. What are you even looking for? That jar was just something I brought. You can't go rifling through people's things just because she has a tantrum." "Tantrum?" I waited. Then another knock. The officer came in, this time holding something in her hand. "Lucy's EpiPen. We found it in her purse," she said. I stared. "The jar," she continued, "is not the same one she presented earlier. It contains peanuts. It's clearly labeled." My mouth opened. Nothing came out. "Would you like to give a full statement now, or wait until later?" "Either is fine now," I said. She nodded and left. More time passed. I didn't check the clock. Everything had gone sort of floaty, like my body was underwater, but no one else noticed. Then I heard it. My mother's voice again, angrier now. "You can't be serious. You're really taking me to a station over a cookie?" Then the officer, "Ma'am, you're not under arrest, but we do need to speak with you formally." Then the door, then silence. I sat there, still holding the pen. Jade appeared in the doorway, didn't say anything at first. "Can I come in?" I nodded. She sat on the floor next to the bed, looked at Lucy, then at me. "So," she said finally. "Quiet evening, huh?" I laughed. It came out sharp like a gasp, but it was real. "I knew she didn't like me," I said. "Didn't know she wanted to kill my child." Jade didn't flinch. She just reached over and put a hand over mine, the one still holding the pen. And that's where I stayed, sitting next to my best friend, holding the one thing that stood between my daughter and whatever the hell that just was, trying to remember how to breathe like a normal person again. As soon as the officers left, I stood up, still holding Lucy's EpiPen like it was the only solid thing in the world. Jade stood with me. I walked out into the hallway and said flatly, "Christmas is over. Please go." No one argued. Derek didn't say a word, just picked up his coat and walked out like he was leaving a bad dinner party. A couple of guests offered awkward hugs. I didn't return. Someone asked if I needed anything. I shook my head. There was nothing anyone could give me that I wanted. Jade didn't leave. She didn't ask if she should stay. She just started clearing plates like she had always lived here. Lucy fell asleep, curled up on my bed. I tucked her in, kissed her head, and sat beside her until her breathing evened out. By the time I made it back to the kitchen, Jade had already washed the dishes I couldn't look at. She handed me a mug of tea and didn't say a word. That was what I needed. We sat in silence for a while, not the tense kind, the kind that fills in naturally when everything else has been said. I keep thinking, I said finally, if I hadn't walked into the kitchen right then. Jade didn't answer. If she'd eaten it, if I hadn't noticed the label, if Lucy hadn't said anything. Still nothing. Then you did notice. I nodded, took a sip. I didn't say what I was really thinking, that I saw it, yes, but I still waited, still questioned it, still stood there frozen, telling myself it wasn't what I thought. The next morning, the phone rang. Unknown number. But I knew I answered it. Hello. My mother didn't waste time. How could you do this to me? No greeting, no pretense. You called the police on your own mother on Christmas over a dessert. Her voice was furious, controlled, like she'd rehearsed it all night while pacing a holding room. Good morning, I said flatly. Don't be flippant, Hannah. You humiliated me. Do you even understand what you've done? I said nothing. This could ruin me. I could lose my job. Do you care about that at all? Do you even care what this does to the family? Mom, I said, you brought a peanut product into a nut-free house. You put it on Lucy's plate. You stole her EpiPen. Oh, for God's sake, she snapped. You really think I would ever put her in danger? She wasn't going to eat it. Not really, I blinked. What do you mean, not really? Derek had an EpiPen. He was ready. He was going to step in the second anything happened. She would have been fine. My mouth went dry. You planned that? You don't understand what it's like to be a single mother, she said, shifting into that disappointed tone I knew too well. I just wanted to help. I wanted people to see how much pressure you're under. So, you staged a medical emergency. It wouldn't have gone that far. She snapped. Derek was going to fix it. All I wanted was for people to see that maybe you're not managing. And you're not. You're hanging on by a thread. I stared at the counter at Jade, who was now frozen with a coffee mug halfway to her lips. You think that helps me? I think you need help, she said. Real help. And if you won't ask for it, someone else needs to show people the truth. I couldn't respond. There wasn't a sentence in the English language big enough to hold the amount of disbelief I was feeling. Then she added quieter. He was going to make sure it didn't get serious. We weren't trying to hurt her, just prove a point. There it was, Derek. He knew. She hesitated just for a second. It was his idea, she said. I just followed through. She must have realized what she'd said because she hung up right after that. I sat there staring at my phone. Jade blinked once, then reached over and poured more coffee into my cup like we were just talking about groceries. So, she said, your mom's a sociopath. I said, apparently in collaboration with my ex-husband. A fun twist. We sat there in silence for a while. The kitchen smelled like old sugar and new coffee. There were still dishes in the sink. The unicorn plate was gone. I didn't want to ask where it ended up. What do I do now? I asked. Jade shrugged. Sue. I let out something between a laugh and a breath. I meant about Lucy, about everything. You tell the truth, she said. You already did the hard part. You stopped it. You believed yourself. That counts. The words hit something in me. I didn't say thank you. I didn't need to. 2 days later, my lawyer called. You might want to sit down for this, she said. Should I be scared or relieved? Both. She explained that they had received discovery materials from the custody proceedings, emails, screenshots, attachments between my mother and Derek. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't vague. They talked about how they were going to highlight your instability and demonstrate that Lucy needs a more structured environment. They joked about me freaking out on cue. They referenced the jar, the EpiPen. Derek even confirmed in one message that he would have one ready to intervene safely. And then the part that made my stomach turn, my mother asking about the promotion and Derek replying already done, followed by another message. When can we bring Trevor in for onboarding? Trevor, my brother. I didn't cry. I didn't throw the phone. I just sat there, still holding it to my ear, the words tumbling in my mind like clothes in a jammed washing machine. They hadn't wanted Lucy to die. They only wanted it to... seem like I wasn't capable of keeping her safe, and they were willing to gamble everything just to prove that. 6 months later, I still read every label twice. Maybe that habit will never go away, and maybe that's a good thing. My mother accepted a plea bargain: child endangerment, tampering with medical supplies, 2 years of probation, mandatory counseling, a court order, no unsupervised visits with Lucy for 5 years. Fine by me. I didn't attend the hearing. I didn't need to. I'd already heard everything I needed when she looked me in the face and said she only wanted to help. Derek fired her the moment the police got involved, said he felt betrayed, which is laughable considering my brother never even got the job. Derek cut ties with him right after the arrest. He did text me once, something about loyalty, family, blah, blah, blah. I blocked his number, never looked back. So yes, I cut them all out. My mother, my brother, gone. No phone calls, no apologies, no attempts to make amends. Derek didn't exactly walk away unscathed either. The emails, the text messages, the EpiPen scheme, it all came out in family court. But the district attorney saw more. He was charged with conspiracy to endanger a child. He took a deal too: probation, a permanent mark on his record. No jail time, but no way to spin it either. His name went public. Within weeks, his business collapsed. Clients vanished. Partners resigned, quietly, politely, pretending they weren't fleeing. He put out a dull corporate statement, something vague about stepping back to prioritize family. No one believed it. The judge didn't need persuasion. I was granted full legal and physical custody. He was given supervised visitation only, no overnights, parenting classes, mandatory therapy, a psychological evaluation. If, and only if, he completes all of it and maintains perfect behavior, he can apply for more. Even he knows it's a lost cause. Now it's calm. Lucy is doing better. She's in therapy. She's talking more, drawing again, and sleeping through the night. She hasn't asked for her father. Jade still drops by with wine and zero tolerance for my self-blame. She doesn't tiptoe around the story. She doesn't treat me like some shattered doll someone glued back together. We laugh sometimes now. It doesn't feel like betrayal anymore. I still check my purse twice before I leave the house. Still scan every dessert table like I'm defusing a landmine made of frosting. That's okay. It's part of the deal. Because Lucy is safe. Because I trust myself. This isn't the life I pictured. But it's mine. And it's quiet. And it's safe. And after everything we've made it through, it's more than enough. At first, I thought losing Derek would be the worst pain. Then I believed trusting my mother was the ultimate mistake. But the true worst thing would have been doubting myself. And now I don't. So tell me, did I go too far or not far enough?